Top 10 ways to ruin your hair is if you're wearing a stocking cap, not putting any moisturizer underneath your hair to not dehydrate your hair. I think people forget when you put on lace front wigs that you still have hair underneath it. So the best way to ruin your hair is to dehydrate it. Listen, I can't believe I even have to make this one because people should know by now. Number 9, don't put a relaxer on your hair and then get braids. What is you doing? You are going to ruin your hair. What the? You know it's dehydrated. There's no reason a relaxer should be on your hair when you're braiding it up. What is that? What? That don't make no sense. Okay. Number 7, go to a new, or is that number 8? I think it's number 7. Go to a new stylist and lie about putting color on your hair. Some of y'all do that. Too many of y'all do that. Over my 30 years, I would say at least 15 people have done that. Maybe 20 over the 10,000 people's hair I've done. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say 40% of the people I've met lie. They just tell lies. They just say, oh yeah, my hair haven't been colored all year. I haven't colored my hair in years. Knowing damn well you put a rinse on it. A rinse is color too. When someone is lifting your hair, especially if you are getting your hair lifted, you say you want this color. Say you want a light brown or, like a caramel colored or honey colored hair, but your hair is very dark. And then your stylist asks, is anything on your hair that you put? And you say no. And then it takes 3 hours to lift it to a crazy, funky looking orange, red, brown. You know why it turns orange, red, brown? Because you put that, or green, because you put a cellophane, you want to call it, or a rinse, so you want to call it. We know what a rinse is, right? But it's a semi-permanent color. And it's depositing color. So when you deposit something like a dark color on your hair, it takes a long time to lift it up. And if you don't tell that stylist right away that, hey, this is what I put on my head, then she can't use the correct things to make sure that your hair lifts properly, or give you the right education and say, hey, well, since you have your hair dark, we're gonna have to do this in stages. It's gonna take about 2 to 4 times because your hair was already colored, in order to keep the integrity of your hair and it not break off. So since you lied and not told nobody, you win. Your hair is gonna fall out in about 2 months. Number 6, there's people out here that say they don't drink water. I've really met people like that. They don't drink water ever. They don't take vitamins. They don't eat vegetables. They don't like vegetables. All they eat is tons of processed foods. Processed foods are, like pre-packaged frozen foods, stuff with 2,000 ingredients on the back of it. You should be eating vegetables every day because the hair grows from the inside out. So you can't ever grow no hair and your hair keep falling out. Well, it's gonna continue to do that, okay? So don't come to the stylist talking about my hair ain't growing. We know you eat terrible. Number 5, we got to the top 5. All right. I had to cut, I almost choked on my water, but anyway, laughing so hard. But number 5, I don't know what y'all call them now, because we started doing this hair extension technique back in the 90s. In fact, the black man named Terrain, if I'm not mistaken, created this. And it is the individual bonds attached to your hair, not the MicroLinks. That's gonna be number 4. And I'm gonna tell you why. But number 5 is, I was watching this hair video, and she had like the curly natural hair look, and literally they put a, the hairstylist put glue beads on every single strand of of her hair. It looked like it was so thin. Well, you know what? Just know that ain't a protected style. And if any stylist is doing that, stylists out here, you gotta let your clients know what's going to ruin their hair. You gotta sign. Back in the day, I used to have mine sign releases like, this is not gonna grow your hair. If you get this, and your hair fall out, or I'll talk to them in a whole text message like, against my professional judgment, you should get this done. But you're a grown woman, so I can't tell you what you can and cannot get. So if you choose to do this, you are responsible for it. I can teach you the hair care and everything like that. But if the first time you might be okay. The second time you might be okay. But you continue to get this, it's not the extension process that takes the hair out. It's the removal. It's always going to be the removal that takes the hair out. It's the maintenance and it's the removal. Luckily, the one thing about glue bonds is that because we need oil, and that's first of all too, if you're putting glue bonds in the hair, we have to put a lot of moisturizer in our hair, right? The moisture is going to remove them out your hair and make it slide. If you okay with that, fine. But if you do not, and then you decide that you're not going to put any oil in your hair, honey, you're going to have a bunch of bald spots. A bunch of them. And I rarely recommend that because every single strand of your hair should not be attached to a glue bond. It should not. It's like you might as well just get some glue tracks glued across it. What's the point? Because it still ain't gonna look natural. You can move your hair and everything like that and do all this stuff, but it's still the same thing, So, a stylist, don't let your clients out here help you ruin their hair. You gotta sometimes let your clients know, because they'll come back to you and be like, well, you didn't tell me. Well, you should have told me not to get this. And I remember after I had started doing those back in the 90s and everything, because people used to, when we had only two things of hair extensions in the store and everything, people used to come, to the different salons and teach us all these different techniques and everything. And I remember when I moved from Detroit to Vegas, and I was in an upscale private room salon suite, and I had this coworker who was a white guy, and he did a lot of all the Playboy bunnies in in Vegas, and all the showgirls and everything like that. And I could see in his room, and every time, and he only specialized in, fusion, we call them back then, infusion, glued bonds, and tape-ins. When he used to take those off of their hair, and he never let them see themselves in a mirror, all these blonde women, these tiny, big boob blonde women who, desirable bodies, white guys and everything, and Vegas showgirls and stuff, they all had bald heads. They only had this much hair and everything was bald headed. And that traumatized me watching that. I watched this for years. I was at this salon for 5 years watching him do this to these women, and they never knew. One cried though when she turned around and looked, and he made sure he never showed them. And he was making at least $25,000 to $5,000 off of each one of them. They was paying him a grip, and he was entertaining, but none of them had hair left. So yeah. So that leads me to number 4. We're gonna go ahead and go into it. That is MicroLinks. If you don't have medium thick to a thick texture, MicroLinks are not for you. Just because you can do it don't mean it's supposed to be done to you. Okay? Everything ain't for everybody. You have to know your you have to know what you can and cannot do. You have to know that. I know I can't always put eyeliner under my eye because I have these natural, bags under my eyes that I've had since I was born. In fact, my grandkids have them, my kids have them, and everything like that. I know at my age, I can't put a lot of eyeliner under there because it's going to make my bags. I can do it, but everything that you do ain't supposed to be done. That's just it. You can't do everything. And that's one of them. You can't wear those because, yes, you are going to be chopping your hair off. And I have had to turn down people. And literally, the people I've turned down, I've had women that stopped talking to me because they were mad because I said, no, you know, after having a consultation, seeing their hair, and I'm like, it's not good for your hair. I can't do it. You know, these people literally, like, I see them in my neighborhood and they literally like roll their eyes and walk past me. You know what I'm saying? Now, sometimes, you know, people can be aggressive. Clients can be aggressive. You know, like, well, this is what I want done. Okay, if you press me, I got a price. I'll pay. Yeah, but guess what? I'm going to have it in the text messages, my release statement and everything like that. And once you approve, cool. And then when 6 months later, you bald-headed, you know, because you keep getting this thing. And then you be like, well, you know, you should have told me, and I'm the client and I didn't know. Here's text message right here. Ain't no drama. I'm not talking. I'm screenshotting and sending you your message. Done. Ain't no conversation after that. None. We're not having none. We going to keep this peaceful. You said this. And I tried to help you. So you have to know that as stylists, we have to set some boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Number 3, getting sew-ins and never putting oil in your hair. Listen, sometimes I'm guilty of that too. I forget that this ain't mine. It ain't mine. And that ain't yours either, honey. Put some oil on that hair. I know that, you know, we want the flow and everything. The best thing to do is put it on at night, because over time, your hair is going to shed and fall out. And I hate when I see that, you know, I mean, people have this certain look and they like, I don't know why my hair is so thin. First of all, you never put anything in. Oh, I put some serum in it. Serum is not oil. You got to oil your scalp, take care of the hair underneath, put some leave-in conditioner in it, all that. Ooh, but number one. The number one is the top best way to ruin your hair is to stay in a stressful relationship. Ain't nothing ever took out a woman's hair worse than being in a stressful relationship with a man that's stressing her out. I'm talking to whoever is suffering from alopecia or hair just falls out in clumps. You know what to do. You gotta find a way to get out and get yourself together. Because as a hairstylist, I've seen a lot of things. And stress-induced hair loss is number one across all, racial lines. So whether it's your man, your mama, your kids, your in-laws, your job, or whatever, check in with yourself. Go get help. Talk to a life coach. Talk to a therapist. Find ways to take care of yourself. Set some boundaries, but go and seek help so that it won't wreak havoc on your hair, because stress is probably one of the main number one causes of hair loss. Sometimes it's on the road to success. You're trying to get there, and so you're just pumping out, stuff, and the self-care is lacking. I know. But as hairstylists, we can only do so much for you. So you got to help us out. We are only in your life for a small percentage of the time. You live with yourself. So yes, help us help you. So managing the stress, I can't stress that enough. No pun intended. And you know what? I got a journal in the description. So if you want a self-love journal, I'll attach some that you can go look at online and help you out. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this list of top ways to ruin your hair. But I hope you have a great, happy 2023. I'll talk to you soon. And like, comment, subscribe, and share with somebody that may need this video too. Talk to you soon.